Police have video footage from the day Adriana disappeared. Kaider News reports. The Guyana Police Force, GPF, has obtained video footage related to the disappearance of 11-year-old Adriana Young at the Doubleday Hotel in Tucson, East Bank, Essequibo. This was confirmed by Crime Chief and Deputy Commissioner of Police Wendell Blanham during a press briefing following the opening of the Association of Caribbean Police Commissioners, ACCP, annual general meeting and conference in Georgetown. Blanham stated, "The investigators are in possession of video footage from before and around the time the alarm was raised regarding her disappearance." However, he clarified that the footage did not come from the hotel's pool camera, which was not operational on that day. "We were informed that the pool camera was not working during the incident. Our forensic video analysts have confirmed this through the DVR," he explained. He further shared that both the hotel owner and the technician indicated that the pool camera had been malfunctioning for a week prior to the incident. Currently, the investigation is focused on gathering evidence, with detectives exploring various theories and possibilities. "These theories will be evaluated against the evidence and facts we have," Blanham added. The crime chief assured that the best local detectives are handling the case, with an independent investigator from Canada expected to arrive shortly. "I have instructed our investigators to remain objective and thorough, ensuring no evidence is overlooked," he said. On May 8, the government announced the hiring of retired Royal Canadian Mounted Police investigator Leonard McCaution to assist with the case. Blanham reported that the process of collecting statements from witnesses is progressing smoothly. Investigators have also reached out to family members of the child. "We anticipate questioning at least 2 more individuals who were present in the pool when Adriana went missing," he noted. Hotel owner Bajnath Bola is required to report to the police daily and is prohibited from leaving the country during the investigation. Adriana was reported missing at approximately 1:30 p.m. on April 23 while swimming with 19 relatives. Her body was found in the pool about 20 hours later by her father, Adriana Young. The circumstances surrounding Adriana's death have raised questions among family members, especially after 3 foreign pathologists concluded that she drowned. They assert that the pool was searched multiple times after her disappearance, without any sign of her. Adriana, a skilled swimmer, frequently visited the river with her father. Her funeral, originally scheduled for May 5, has been postponed as her family seeks answers and justice for the young girl. Sophia Mann granted $250,000 bail for attempted murder. Kaider News reports. 29-year-old Septon Barton, who was initially remanded to prison for attempted murder back in April, was granted $250,000 bail on Friday after he reappeared at court for the same offense. Barton of Plum Park, South Sophia, Greater Georgetown, appeared at the Georgetown Magistrates Court before Acting Chief Magistrate Faith McGusty and was represented by attorney-at-law Dominic Bess. It was reported that on April 10, 2025, Barton made his first court appearance where he was represented by the said attorney. Bess at the time told the court that his client and the victim, Roger Vifius, had an ongoing issue since last year. He noted that Vifius had made several threats toward his client and on April 8, 2025 Vifius, who was armed with a knife, attacked Barton and as a result, his client acted out of self-defense. The prosecution had objected to bail due to the victim sustaining several stab wounds, causing him to be hospitalized after undergoing a surgery. However, during Friday's court hearing, it was made known that Vifius had been discharged from the hospital and as a result, Magistrate McGusty initially granted Barton $300,000 bail. However, his attorney requested a reduction in the bail amount due to his client's financial strains. Magistrate McGusty then granted Barton bail in the sum of $250,000. He is expected to return to court on May 30, 2025. Man released on $200,000 bail for attempted murder. Kaider News reports. A 33-year-old man, Devin Thomas, was granted $200,000 bail on Friday after being charged with the attempted murder of Ronette Mentor, the mother of his 2 children. Thomas appeared before Acting Chief Magistrate Faith McGusty at the Georgetown Magistrates Court. He did not enter a plea to the charge, which alleges that he attempted to murder Mentor on December 21, 2024, at Lang Avenue, Georgetown. Defense attorney Stacey Goodings informed the court that Mentor requested the withdrawal of the charge, expressing her lack of interest in pursuing the matter. Despite her request, the police proceeded with the case. Upon hearing this, Magistrate McGusty asked Mentor if she wished to continue with the case, to which she replied no. Consequently, bail was set at $200,000, and Thomas is scheduled to return to court on June 12, 2025. Smithfield man remanded over fatal chopping incident. Newsroom Guyana reports. A Smithfield, New Amsterdam man has been remanded to prison following charges of murder in connection with the death of 44-year-old Leon Fordyce, also known as Nasty Man. Uburn Bristol, 39, also called Uzi, appeared before Magistrate Michelle Matthias at the Albion Magistrates Court on Tuesday. The court was informed that on May 4th, at High Dam, Caracas Village, West Cange, Bristol and another individual were involved in Fordyce's murder. Bristol was not required to enter a plea to the indictable charge. During the proceedings, Police Prosecutor Sergeant Mark Edwards stated that the case file is complete and that law enforcement is pursuing another suspect related to Fordyce's death. Edwards confirmed that once this suspect is apprehended, further investigations will be conducted, and the case file will be sent to the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, for legal advice. Bristol's lawyer, Sasha Robertson, queried the potential outcome of the case if the police fail to arrest the other suspect. Edwards assured the court that this would not hinder the advancement of the case. He requested a 3-week extension for obtaining statements, which Magistrate Matthias granted. Bristol has been remanded to prison, and the case is set for review on June 9th. On the day of the incident, 35-year-old Cian Lafleur, also known as Sean, was involved in an argument with 44-year-old Angelica New Year, who was accompanied by Neon de Jonge Bristol. The dispute involved threats against New Year's 26-year-old son, Gregory de Jonge. The altercation escalated when Sean stabbed New Year in the abdomen. In a separate incident, Leon Fordyce was struck in the head and later pronounced dead at New Amsterdam Hospital. Gregory de Jonge reportedly rushed to the scene after hearing about the altercation and attacked Sean with a machete before fleeing. It is noted that Angelica New Year had a relationship with Fordyce. Shortly before the incident, Sean's mother, 50-year-old Nicola Christine Lafleur, spoke with him and later received a distressing call about the situation. Upon rushing outside, she found Sean unresponsive on the road with a severe head wound. When asked about the motive behind these tragic events, Nicola revealed that her son was troubled over the paternity of a 2-month-old child, with both Sean and Gregory named as potential fathers. On May 9, 2025, Gregory was charged and remanded to prison for the murder of Lafleur. Venezuelan remigrants receive school grants amid challenging reintegration. Newsroom Guyana reports. Migrants from Venezuela in Guyana, many with children enrolled in schools, are benefiting from the education grants currently being distributed across the country. The distribution of the Because We Care student grants began on Monday in Regions 7 and 9. Diat Diakand, a Guyanese father who returned from Venezuela with his wife and 3 daughters, shared his challenges adjusting to life in Guyana. After living in Venezuela for almost 2 decades, he returned to Guyana in 2022. His 2 daughters attend St. Anthony Primary School, one in grade 2 and the other in grade 5, while his eldest daughter is preparing for the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, CSEC, exams. Diakand noted that his daughters primarily speak Spanish, which complicates their interactions at school. The language is a barrier, but they are trying. The one sitting for CXC is really putting in the effort, Diakand said. Although his family had previously benefited from the student grant, this was the first time he went to collect it himself, as his wife had handled it before. To facilitate smoother distributions, the Ministry of Education has increased the number of distribution sites and deployed more teachers to assist. Education Minister Priya Manikchand visited schools in Region 7 and observed a significant turnout of Venezuelan migrants with children in the education system. She emphasized that the student grant is available for every student enrolled in school, and how the funds are utilized is determined by the parents. Once your children are registered, every child will receive this grant in the country, the minister stated. It's important to note that there are Venezuelans with children in school, whether they are of Venezuelan origin or have Guyanese parentage. Human rights body concerned over unresolved circumstances surrounding Adriana Young's death. News source Guyana reports. The Guyana Human Rights Association, GHRA, has expressed deep concern over the unresolved circumstances surrounding the death of 11-year-old Adriana Young and the growing public distrust this situation has provoked. In a statement today, the GHRA highlighted that the national unrest is driven not only by the tragic nature of Adriana's death but also by increasing skepticism towards statements and actions from the police and government officials. The association criticized the government's approach of limiting its responses to known facts, which it described as insufficient for reassuring the public. This pattern raises questions about political motives. With national elections approaching, Afro-Guyanese-led street unrest could trigger a return to party loyalty among traditional supporters of the ruling party. While linking such unrest to electoral concerns without substantial evidence would be reckless, administrative failures in providing reliable information could foster such speculation, the GHRA noted. The body referenced statements from international diplomatic missions, including those from the UK, US, and the EU, that have urged calm and reaffirmed their commitment to democracy and peace in Guyana. However, the GHRA argued that these calls do not adequately address the core issue of public trust in national institutions, including the Guyana police force and state media. The GHRA has urged diplomatic partners to prioritize making the technical recommendations of any international investigative support available to the Guyanese public. The current case must not repeat the failures of the 2020 initiative to resolve the West Coast Berbice murders of the Henry Boys and Haresh Singh. In that case, cooperation among the GPF, the GHRA, the families of the victims, and their lawyer brought the respected Latin American Forensic Anthropology team, IF, to Guyana. However, non-cooperation from the Ministry of Home Affairs hindered effective action, the association stated. Regarding Adriana's case, the GHRA emphasized that the public cannot be expected to accept conclusions from an institution that has thus far relied on evasion, misinformation, and selective enforcement, referring to the Guyana police force. The association called for an inclusive arrangement involving all sectors, including Parliament, civil society, the diplomatic community, the media, and Adriana Young's family. The family has been advocating for an international investigation, potentially involving the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI. However, the U.S. ambassador stated on Monday that the Guyana government has not requested the FBI's assistance. Currently, the government has secured the services of a retired homicide investigator from Canada to assist local police. President Ali has indicated that the government is committed to supporting the investigation and has maintained communication with the family. It appears unlikely that the government will seek additional foreign assistance. Adriana Young was found dead in the pool of the Doubleday Hotel just 1 day after being reported missing, and she has yet to be laid to rest. Guyana beefing up monitoring at borders. Catfish News reports. As Venezuela prepares to hold elections aimed at claiming Guyana's Essequibo region, President Irfan Ali has assured citizens that the nation's sovereignty will be maintained. Despite provisional measures from the International Court of Justice, ICJ, prohibiting Venezuela from proceeding with elections in Essequibo, the country plans to move forward with its election on May 25. During a press briefing at the opening of the 39th Association of Caribbean Commissioners of Police Annual General Meeting and Conference, President Ali emphasized that Guyana is actively monitoring its borders in response to Venezuela's actions. He stated, "The government is not sitting back and waiting for Venezuela to act. We are continuously analyzing the situation in partnership with our stakeholders. I want to assure you and all Guyanese that the Guyana Defense Force, the government, and every stakeholder are putting everything in place to ensure the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Guyana are protected," he added. Ali also highlighted that the ICJ has issued clear orders that Guyana is following. Earlier this month, the court reaffirmed its provisional measures, instructing Venezuela to refrain from conducting elections or preparations in the Essequibo region until a final decision is made. In March, The ICJ had responded to Guyana's request for provisional measures concerning the 1899 arbitral award, Guyana versus Venezuela, after Venezuela announced its election plans. Guyana argued that these elections would violate its sovereignty and political independence, and warned that such actions could cause irreparable harm. The urgency of the situation prompted Guyana to seek immediate intervention from the ICJ. U.S. reviewing latest submissions by Guyana for lifting of catfish ban. News source Guyana reports. The U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food Safety and Inspection Service is currently reviewing recent submissions from Guyana regarding its application to lift the ban on importing catfish from the country. On Monday, U.S. Ambassador Nicole Theriault announced that additional documents had been submitted to the U.S. Department of Agriculture in response to a series of questions from U.S. authorities over the past month. The government of Guyana has responded comprehensively to the latest round of inquiries. The primary goal of the current ban is to ensure that all imports into the United States are safe for consumption. It is all about safety and phytosanitary measures, Ambassador Theriault stated. In 2017, Guyana, along with several other countries, faced a ban on exporting catfish to the U.S. due to safety concerns. Since then, efforts to have the ban lifted have been challenging. Ambassador Theriault noted that once the review is completed, the U.S. Department of Agriculture will inform Guyana whether additional information is needed or if the ban will be lifted. The department is currently assessing all responses, and after their review, they may either ask further questions or decide to lift the ban, she explained. The current administration in Guyana has been eagerly awaiting a decision from U.S. authorities regarding the 8-year ban. AMNA ally remembered as champion of politics and the people. News source Guyana reports. People's National Congress Reform, PNCR, stalwart AMNA ally was honored today as a giant in politics, celebrated for her selfless service to her country in education, governance, and social development. Ally served as Minister of Social Cohesion and later as Minister of Social Protection under the former APNU plus AFC government. Since her passing on Saturday, tributes have been pouring in from across the political spectrum, continuing at her funeral today. President Irfan Ali was among those offering heartfelt tributes. Despite their political differences, he regarded Ally as a sister and friend. Speaking at the Central Islamic Organization of Guyana, CIOG, he reflected on her dedication as both an educator and a politician. Her life was marked by steadfast service to her community, her students, her party, and her country. She wore many hats: teacher, politician, government minister, and wore each with selfless commitment. Perhaps the hat that suited her best was that of a compassionate human being who never lost sight of humanity in others, even in the heat of political battles, President Ali said. He acknowledged that Ally's life was not without challenges, yet she remained devoted to her work. As a veteran politician, Ally served as General Secretary of the PNCR for many years and was a member of the party for almost 50 years. She resigned last year, citing concerns about the party's direction under Aubrey Norton. Though Norton was absent from the funeral, close friend and former opposition leader Joe Harmon paid tribute, describing Ally as a champion of the people. AMNA Ally was unique. There will never be another like her. She had the ability to bridge the political divide and unite people, a quality that Brigadier Granger recognized when he appointed her the first and only Minister of Social Cohesion, Harmon said. He noted her exceptional ability to mobilize financial support for the party, stating, "The party will miss AMNA dearly. She was instrumental in raising funds that supported our campaigns." Opposition Member of Parliament Natasha Singh Lewis shared her personal connection to Ally, calling her a mentor and mother figure. "She has mothered many and done good for those she didn't even know. I entered politics at her encouragement because she believed we needed representation," Singh Lewis said. Tributes also came from former PNCR General Secretary Dawn Hastings-Williams and former City Mayor Ubridge Noreen. Noreen highlighted Ally's unwavering support and contributions to the party. Her fundraising and organizational skills were unparalleled. "I will miss our heated debates and her warmth," he remarked. AMNA Ally was laid to rest this afternoon in her hometown of Rossignol, leaving behind a legacy of dedication and compassion. Construction worker remanded for attempted murder. Kaider News reports. 48-year-old Sylvester Adams was on Friday remanded to prison for attempted murder. Adams, a construction worker of Lot 2542 La Parfaite Harmony, West Bank Demerara, WBD, appeared before Acting Chief Magistrate, Faith McGusty at the Georgetown Magistrates Court. He was not required to plead to the indictable charge, which alleged that on May 5, 2025 at Durban Street, Lodge, Georgetown, he unlawfully and maliciously wounded Leon Farley with the intent to murder him. The prosecution objected to bail due to the seriousness of the offense. They highlighted that the accused used a knife to inflict harm on Farley, and as a result, he was admitted to the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation (GPHC) in a critical condition. Magistrate McGusty denied Adams bail and remanded him to prison until May 30, 2025. Court proceedings update, Kanu. Please be informed that on Friday, May 9, 2025, Colin Alfred and Terence Bentinck appeared before Magistrate McGusty at the Georgetown Magistrates Court. Colin Alfred pleaded guilty, while Terence Bentinck pleaded not guilty to the offense of possession of 11.148 kilograms of cocaine for the purpose of trafficking. Bail was refused for both Alfred and Bentinck, and they were remanded to prison until May 12, 2025. On Monday, May 12, 2025, Colin Alfred appeared again before Magistrate McGusty at the Georgetown Magistrates Court, where he changed his plea to not guilty. Bail was refused, and he was remanded to prison. Court proceedings update, Kanu. Please be informed that on Friday, May 9, 2025, Wendez Pompey appeared before Magistrate Azor at the Georgetown Magistrates Court, where he was sentenced to 3 years imprisonment, along with a fine of GYD $1,737,000 for the offense of possession of 1.1562 kilograms of cocaine for the purpose of trafficking. Court proceedings update, Kanu. Please be informed that on today's date, Roger De Freitas appeared before Magistrate Rabindranath Singh at the Port Kaituma Magistrates Court, where he pleaded not guilty to the offense of trafficking 11.148 kilograms of cocaine. Bail was refused, and he was remanded to prison until June 11, 2025. Court proceedings update, Kanu. Please be informed that on Friday, May 9, 2025, Jason De Freitas appeared before Magistrate McGusty at the Georgetown Magistrates Court, where he pleaded not guilty to the offense of aiding Colin Alfred and Terence Bentinck to traffic 11.148 kilograms of cocaine. Bail was granted to De Freitas in the sum of GYD $500,000 on the condition that he lodges his passport with the court and reports to Kanu's headquarters every other Friday. Government must ensure Exxon adheres to law when awarding contracts, Norton. Kaider News reports. Leader of the opposition Aubrey Norton has called on the government of Guyana to ensure that ExxonMobil complies with legal requirements when awarding contracts for projects that have not yet received approval. At his weekly press conference last Friday, Norton expressed concerns over the company's practice of awarding contracts without prior project approvals. He stated that while he expects Exxon to act as a responsible corporate entity, it is ultimately the government's duty to enforce the law. However, it is the government's responsibility to ensure that the law is enforced, he emphasized. Norton also highlighted the importance of conducting thorough environmental impact assessments for these projects. Guyanese scholar Dr. Ulrich Trotz has further underscored the need for strict enforcement of laws and enhanced capacity building to improve oversight in the oil sector. He noted that under the previous administration, the World Bank provided a $20 million loan aimed at building technical capacity essential for effective supervision of the oil and gas operations in Guyana. This program, approved in 2019, is part of the Guyana Petroleum Resources Governance and Management Project, GPRGMP, designed to strengthen legal and institutional frameworks and enhance the capacity of key institutions in managing the oil and gas sector. After the new government took office in 2020, it received approval to restructure the loan. Earlier this year, the government informed the National Assembly of its intention to seek another year-long extension to complete the $20 million loan. Dr. Trotz emphasized the necessity of developing local skills for effective oversight. One way to achieve this is through smart partnerships that bring in expertise and provide hands-on training to local staff, he said, stressing the need for political will to ensure proper implementation. Dr. Trotz pointed out that having laws in place is insufficient without the political will to enforce them, stating, "We, the Caribbean, are weak on enforcement." In an October 2023 article titled, "Guyana is the only place where Exxon awards contracts for unapproved projects," ExxonMobil expressed confidence in Guyana's regulatory systems. The company's country manager, Alastair Routledge, stated that they have faced no issues in awarding multimillion-dollar contracts without the necessary project approvals. He explained, "The procurement process is separate from the regulatory process. We are aligning our efforts to be ready to move forward once we receive regulatory approval." Routledge acknowledged the risks associated with making significant investments prior to government approval but deemed it an acceptable risk, as they trust the process to be dependable for sanctioning projects in the Stabroek Block.